We assume that exhaustion is the price of becoming better. But in some instances, it can be a warning sign, a redirection. I ask all of you to imagine this. You are on an infinite ladder. With each step that you take, you improve. At least that's what you tell yourself. A little more discipline, better looks, or even just a slightly more optimized version of you. So naturally, you keep on climbing, chasing this idea of perfection. But the thing is, you never really arrive anywhere. At some point, you begin to wonder, how much longer until this ladder climbing becomes an addictive drug? How much longer until you end up like this guy? I once caught myself editing a memory while it was still taking place. It was a family gathering, nothing special, just people talking, laughing, and existing. But instead of being there, a thought crossed my mind. This would be a good moment. If only I were a better version of myself. Not happier, not more present, just better. I remember sitting there, nodding at conversations, already mentally rewriting the scene, how I should sound more confident, how I should speak less, or speak more, or differently. I wasn't living in the moment. I was auditioning for it. And what scared me the most wasn't that I felt insecure. No. It was that I didn't realize just how unnatural my train of thoughts were. Constant self-judgment had trained me to experience life through a stranger's eyes. Later that night, I tried to recall what people actually said. I couldn't. All I could remember was how well I thought I performed. We live in a world obsessed with self-image. You can't open an app without being told who to become next. And conveniently, everybody else seems to have figured out how to fix your life, including the people that discovered motivation last Tuesday. There are times when I told myself I would just scroll for 10 minutes. 2 hours later, I had learned 7 ways to smile in a candid picture, 3 ways to de-bloat, and yet 0 ways to actually go to sleep at 10 p.m. Wow, that stuff genuinely never ends. The irony? All this self-improvement started making people feel worse. That's when I realized perhaps the cracks aren't in you, but in the mirror that taught you to search for them in the first place. What begins as growth slowly but surely stretches into infinity, and life becomes a list with no closing line. We start measuring worth in output. Hey, how many steps did you walk today? And you, how many hours did you study? And you, how many books did you read this month? We treat ourselves like machines, always trying to upgrade. And it suffocates you. I'm going to give you all a few seconds. Think about the last time that you rested without the guilt of impending doom. Keyword, guilt-free. Can you guys remember it? I know, sometimes well-deserved rest feels like procrastination when it's really not. See? That's what it does. Obsession with yourself instills fears and guilt into you. If you're not improving, you're wasting time. I'm sorry. Think about it. When did stillness start to feel like such a crime? Self-improvement sells the idea of a final perfected self, but each milestone just creates another, and growth turns into endless striving. But when improvement becomes tied to self-worth, it quietly turns into self-rejection, erasing who we were in the process of becoming better. Much of this pursuit isn't personal at all. It's driven by comparison and the pressure to keep up. And over time, this pressure hardens into perfectionism, and every single pause feels like failure. I remember when I was just 13 and I had a habit of walking for an hour every single day. It felt like I was doing something right, even when I was exhausted. And then I cried. I cried so hard once because I missed 3 days of my regular walking. I genuinely believed that if I couldn't maintain this consistency, I wasn't good for much else. Raise your hand if you've ever absurdly cried over something so irrelevant. Yeah, same. But now I know better. We are told that if we just improve ourselves enough, everything else will fall into place. But that's really the case. Most of our problems aren't easy fixes. They are systemic, and no amount of your journaling will replace fair wages or mental health access. Yet, this culture shifts the weight onto our shoulders with forced cheerfulness, leaving no space for grief, failure, or pause. Toxic positivity turns your pain into negligence, when in reality, growth can look like falling apart, not powering through it. Meaning happens when you are paying attention, not while you are preparing. Sometimes it's okay. It's completely fine not to glow. So, where does this leave us? Do we stop trying to grow? Not at all. Instead, we start redefining what growth actually means. What if it was never about climbing the ladder higher up, but about stepping off for a while to enjoy the view? Here's a question this industry rarely asks. What if you are already enough? Not will be, not might be, but are, right now. Since happiness always seems to be postponed, I wonder just how many of our moments it has quietly slipped past. You see, the myth of self-improvement, it's not that we can't grow. It's that we can perfect ourselves. We can't. We are not supposed to, because being human isn't a problem to solve. It's an experience to live. So the next time you feel the urge to fix yourself, take a deep breath and remember, Ellen Saunders once wrote, "Life is what happens when you are too busy making other plans." And maybe the best thing that we can do is to finally let life happen. Thank you.